Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from the Fairfield Inn at Marriott in St. Roberts, Missouri. We were supposed to go racing in Lebanon at I-44 Speedway, but Mother Nature had other plans. But we have a first edition for you. We have the first ever Bandit Series Unplugged edition, and we have several drivers of the Bandit Big Rig Series here with us. Let's take you who we've got. We've got the driver of the 4, Scott Treadway. The number 17 truck driver, the man they call Boost, Justin Ball. The number 29, we have Joey Seaman. The man who is currently on a winning streak right now in the Bandit Big Rig Series with 2 consecutive wins, Tommy Pretty Boylo. And then next up is someone who I know already has quite the fan base going for him. He drives the number 01. I call him the Wild Man. This is Chris Kiekelhan. And then we have the man that everybody is facing. He's won the most Bandit Big Rig Series main events. He's currently leading the point standings. It's the guy they call Cupcake. We have Ricky Rude. Then there's the driver of the 54. We have Tyler Kruckberg. And then we have the driver of the number 26. We have Mr. Travis Buckner. And then there's the driver of the 27, Darren Profit. Driver of the number 3, Alan Bowles. Then we have the driver of the 88, Mike Morgan. John Lisenby in the 7. Then the guy who is now driving the 00, we have Bob Boylo. And then finally, last but simply not least, the Godfather himself, Craig Kruckberg. Birthday boy. Happy birthday, Craig. Happy birthday, Craig. Now, we're going to be taking Facebook questions from you, the fans, who have questions about this exciting new series, because I know you got a lot of good questions for them. But I want to ask a first question for Craig Kruckberg, if you guys could pass the mic down to him. Craig, the question that I have for you is, this is a series that has been growing leaps and bounds ever since it's first started. I mean, people all around the country, they are talking about this exciting new series called the Bandit Big Rig Series. I mean, big rigs going about 100 miles an hour on a short track that is meant for cars, that is something that is unheard of. How did this idea come about?
Can I just pass the mic down the row here? Because every single individual pretty much in this room was with Champ series years ago, pretty much. And when that demise came upon us, I got a phone call about bringing a couple trucks to race around some circle tracks in North Carolina for a couple beers. And so once that...
Actually, I think we talked about running a cornfield, to be honest with you.
I said, oh, yeah, Ricky, yeah. I can get more people to a truck pull in the middle of a cornfield than me.
That's your words.
And so it's just that the group of people you see here, the starting of it, is really how it took off. Everybody had a belief. It's, you know, you could say it's the dream, but everybody had a belief that this could work. And as I look around here, we what it grew from how many, 10 to 12 to 15. And so there's 3 more trucks being built right now. 3 different teams. 2 of the teams are building another truck each. So it's just the passion that started here was the guys that just, everyone in this room has a belief.
Well, thank you very much, Craig. That was a question from Terry Rawson, who asked, how did you get involved with the series? So thanks for answering that. We also have a question from Joshua Brands, I believe is what it says. This is for any one of the drivers here who want to take this. Regular drive lines, or are they played with?
No, they're regular drive lines. I mean, they're standard drive lines. The axles, the rear ends, and everything, just standard drive lines that comes in regular trucks, and we just beef them up just a little bit and tweak them just a little bit, and here we go. I mean, everything's more or less standard.
Well, thank you very much. That is Alan Bowles, the driver of the 3. Now, I want to get a question from Ricky Rude. He's currently the point standings leader, and he has won the most racing events so far in the series. Ricky, what is it like being the point standings leader, and is it pressuring knowing that there are a lot of, every one of these drivers, they're gunning for you? That's got to be pretty nerve-wracking, isn't it?
It is, especially the last 3 races. So the first race of the year, we had mechanical issues, and I just blew a fuse. So we went home, I fixed it, and then I got on a winning streak, and then I just thought I had it wrapped up. You know, I guess you get overconfident, but I was still, you know, these guys are improving every week. Tommy Bolo, Chris, everyone here, I mean, they're just working on their trucks every week. So how, with the disastrous finishes that I've had in the last 3 races, how I'm still the points leader is beyond me. But, and Chris, well, we're just like a family. I mean, we're, you know, that, of course, that's 20 or 30 minutes after the race, we're a family. But so I'm just glad I'm here. I don't know that I can maintain it long because these guys are coming on strong. So each race we're doing these steps up. So I don't know how many more steps we can go before we level it off.
Well, thank you very much, Ricky. Now your nickname is Cupcake. How'd that nickname come about?
I tried to hide it when we came into this because it's followed me my whole life, literally since I was 20 years old. So a guy that's passed on, an old veteran trucker, we used to haul asphalt. We were setting the asphalt plant broke down. I go across the street. I buy a Pepsi and a couple of Little Debbie's cupcakes, come and walk across the street. The guy said, "You look like a cupcake." So 40 truckers all day said, "You cupcake, cupcake, cupcake." So here we are.
Yeah.
So when I go into this series, I think one of my past ghosts said something about it, and so I've accepted it. So I'm going to die with cupcake on my headstone.
All right. Well, you know, when I first heard your name, Ricky Rude, I just immediately thought of the wrestler Ravishing Rick Rude. Would you say you have some similarities to him in any way?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's another nickname Mr. Bowles gave me.
He's rude.
Me and Alan grew up together. We knew each other all of our life. So I guess I drive aggressively on the highway too. So
Maybe we should ask Tommy if there's any resemblance to the Rick.
yeah, but let me tell you how it come about. Maybe he can confirm. So you know, me and Al, like I say, we grew up together. We vacationed together. Our families, you know, dine out together, eat together, go to the lake together, go to the beach together. So he just says one of these days at a red light, some big guy's going to come up and drag me out of the window and beat the crap out of me because I'm so rude. So when the racing started, everybody was getting the names because he's always called me Mr. Rude. Mr. Rude. Good God, you're Mr. Rude. So I just threw the Rick in there, and we threw the Y on the end of it, and Ricky Rude, and had some stickers made.
All right. Thank you very much, Ricky Rude. All right, we have another question that any one of you can take. This is from Chris Blair, and he asks, "Are you guys ready to drive a 1.25 mile track?"
Me, no, here, Chris.
No. I mean, I'm ready. It's going to get crazy, but I'm down for anything. I mean, we'd be doing, what, 160 mile an hour? Something like that. So don't be scared. Come on, Chris. I'll pass it along.
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Would definitely try it, but I don't think the tires will like it.
That's good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll have to do some more work to the trucks for the trucks to be able to handle that.
Wow. All right. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for that question, Mr. Chris Blair. We also have a question from Travis. How many horses do these things push, these Bandit big rig trucks? How many horses?
Mine's like 350.
He's lying. We have anywhere from, basically right now, we have from 4 to
6.
Right.
600.
4 to 1,000. Different things. So it just depends on what they've done. The last few tracks we went to, there's momentum tracks. So the lower horsepower tracks are able to stay with the higher horsepower trucks. We have one big track that we go to, or our main track, Greenville Pickens Speedway. It's just 2 straights, 2 flat curves, and that's where the high horsepower trucks outmaneuver the low horsepower trucks. But here of lately, the Montgomery Speedway, the Madison, the one we just came from Cedar Rapids, they're all Momentums, and everybody kind of stays in contention. So, but that's changing. That changes daily. I mean, everybody is going home and thinking what they need to do. So we're doing computer programming. The electronic motors now offer us more than we did with the manual motors. We've got more tweaking. We've got more options available to us. But like I say, in my opinion, the sweetest truck on the track is Tommy's, because Michael, the truck owner, has worked on it feverishly. And he's very smart, and he has a lot of technology behind him. And I was telling his dad today that I think Tommy's truck in 4 to 5 years from now it'll be a dog. I mean, it won't even compete with us, because we're going to make little small changes over the course of time that we're going to have these things really dialed in. But our goal is not to have people on the outside not be able to get in. That's what our goal is, right? I mean, we're trying to make this affordable to get in, and we're here, so we're going to try to control that, because all you guys out there that truck and do this, do that, we want you in here with us. I mean, we want to come here. We actually want to break this thing up and have different fields, different brackets, different heat races. We're sending nobody home. So that's our goal. That's Craig's goal, Brian's goal, everybody here's goal, is to not make it so outrageous that you guys can't get in.
You can't buy a win.
There you go. You can't buy a win. But that, you know, we're just all working people, you know, except this guy. But you know, but everybody else is, and we're good.
All right, thank you very much. All right, we have another question that comes from Neely Long. She wants to know, what kind of transmission do you run?
Automatic.
Everybody runs different. They're anywhere from 5-speed to 18-speed, and everywhere in between. They have to be a stick through the floor, clutch, straight drive.
All right. Now, this might be a difficult question for some of you guys to answer. Someone wants to know, who is the most handsome driver? All right, I saw some hands for Alan Bowles, but Chris Kinkelheim.
I definitely think Chris takes the cake on this one. I don't think there's any contest.
Did you say handsome or creative?
Handsome.
No.
He is the only one that just came from the gym.
All right. Well, speaking of Chris, hey, Chris, I want to tell you, the first time I saw you in the Bandit Big Rig Series, it was at Montgomery Motor Speedway. You were driving the wheels off of that truck. I mean, one point you hit the wall, but you never lifted off the throttle. And I could hear from the fans, they were going absolutely crazy for you. You may not have won the race, but you definitely won their hearts and everybody else that was watching online. And I also said myself, you're what Tom Mentz is to Monster Jam. You're the Tom Mentz of the Bandit Big Rig Series. You know, big monster truck driver, just in case there's someone who doesn't know who that is. Chris, tell me about that race at Montgomery Motor Speedway. You never lifted off that throttle. Why not hit the brake?
That's every race.
Did you have your tires all on?
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh, just wondered.
Sure. They came
Okay.
off. Adam, that's what we call
Why don't you go-
a dog pleaser.
Why don't you go hit another wall, Rick? Talk to me later.
I just heard that
Why'd you
that's why
take-
you're called the crowd
Take another couple
pleaser.
dudes out next time, will you? Okay, good talk.
You know, but
I just got one phrase. When in doubt, gas it out.
There you go.
well, Chris, tell me, what is it like driving those big rig trucks out on the short track going so fast? Because people have seen big rigs go out on the highway, but they're going like 60, 70 or something like that. But this is about close to 100 miles per hour. What is that like?
It's just an adrenaline rush. It's like, you know, we get stuck in traffic and we want to sit there and kill people and run them over and stuff. And then we get to come out here and run around and try to run at each other. Like, there's like a fine line of, even after the race, when we leave here, we're going, you know, so fast and everything. It's like we get back into our real jobs and we're like sitting there trying to just like race each other and just run people off the road on the highway and stuff.
All right.
So it's just like, it's tough to turn off, but it's an adrenaline rush. So that's the way I think about you.
All right.
You're
Legitly,
rude. He's rude, so he does it, yeah.
All right.
Definitely changes the way you drive your personal truck.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris. Now we have a question for Brian Madston, who outruns this whole thing. And Brian, the question that I have for you is, it says, can you give any hints to some new tracks for next year?
Oh, wow.
That's fun.
Yeah.
We knew we would.
Yeah. These guys have all been trying to get that out of me already. We are looking at expanding our area for next year. We're going to try to get up, hopefully up into the Northeast. There's a couple tracks in Pennsylvania that we're looking at. You're welcome, Chris. You might be able to sleep in your own bed at night for once, and not be a sleeper. We're also looking at getting some more races in the Midwest to be able to expand and grow our fan base.
The weather out here is awesome. Too.
Oh, you gotta love it, don't you? Yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, where else can you go for a race and go home with a shower?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no problem.
All right. Thank you very much. And now we have a question from a guy named Travis. It's not the Travis that we have right here. And he wants to know, it's for every one of you, what's the most popular engine you run?
I think Squirrel ought to answer it.
Mike Morgan, you want to answer that?
I
Alan
think
Bowles?
Caterpillar myself. I'm a Caterpillar man. I'm Caterpillar.
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 Raise your hand.
He's trying to get sponsored.
Alan Bowles, a Caterpillar man, huh? All right. Hey, Travis Bugner, you've got the mic right there. Travis, tell me what was it that got you into the Bandit Big Rig Series? What made you want to drive this truck that you do?
Father-in-law right here. He built a new truck and he more or less just gave me his. Yeah, I got hand-me-down. It's Alan Bowles' truck. But I got put in it.
And you enjoying driving in the Bandit Series?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's a blast. It's fun.
All right. Tyler Kruckberg right there. We have some father and sons in this division, and one of them is Tyler and Trevor, their brothers, along with their dad, Craig Kruckberg, the Godfather. Tyler, what is it like racing with your brother and your dad out there? Because I imagine that's probably a little difficult because he's your dad, but yeah, at the same time you want to beat him.
Well, sometimes it's kind of a mess. It's like we all get in the same heat. It's like, all right, we all on the same team, guys. Remember that. But it precedes the one runs over the other one half the time, and we're back in the shop, and he blames the other person for it, and it's a pissing match at that point. But yeah. No, God forbid it's one of the drivers who actually hit the other person's fault. But when we're on the track, it's you just learn. All right, it's him in front of you. We're gonna play with him a little bit more and play different than what you play with these guys. You probably won't bump them as much, but if I have my dad and my brother in front of me, oh yeah, we're gonna hit them hard.
All right.
Proving that.
Oh yeah, I took them out.
Tell us how you really feel.
How y'all get together?
Okay.
Y'all run together.
All right.
We just sit together. We're just like, yeah, we're gonna run
Look
this.
at the replays. They're just there. They're there.
There's like magnets on them.
Okay.
We just don't care about anybody else. We're just going after us three.
We all actually want to have a 3-truck race.
Oh, you guys want to have a 3-truck race?
We do, not them. We want to see a 25
We want to
lap
watch.
family race.
All right. Well.
Alan started it. He wants to get there.
Okay.
I think that'd be great.
All right. Well, we got another question. It says this is for Mike Morgan or anyone who wrecks. Okay. All right.
Whoa, this could be a long night.
Here's the question. Donna wonders, is it hard to get the trucks fixed after you wreck one in just 1 week?
So
what does it take?
getting wrecked or being involved in the wreck? Yes, we work a 40-hour week. Most of us are all blue-collar guys. A lot of these guys are in the trucks during the week hauling loads. I work as a technician in the dealership, so we left out of the last race and got home, and I've been at the barn working on this truck to get it back to where it's at today every night. I hadn't seen my wife until I got in the transporter just the other day. I haven't seen my son all week. I've been underneath the truck in the barn or at the shop for the last 5 days. It's a dedicated situation. Every one of us here in this room has pretty much been in this situation at some point in time throughout the season already. We all want every single one of these trucks at every single one of these races. If I have something that may help somebody else in getting their truck together, if they need it, they can have it. I'll give it to The same goes for anybody in the opposite direction. We will all help each other out to make sure these trucks are at the track to be racing on. We all want to race each other. We all want to beat each other. Everybody wants to get Ricky, too.
All right. All right. Now, Mike, while you have the mic, I want to ask you about that first victory you got at Greenville Pickens Speedway, because, man, I could hear the emotion in your voice, how proud that was for you to get that victory. Tell me what that victory was like to finally get it, and also put an end to Ricky Rude's streak of victories.
Yeah, that was an amazing race. We just drove really hard that weekend. We had a lot of other emotional things going on that weekend. I didn't have my crew chief that weekend. His mom had just passed away that Friday, and that meant a lot to us that weekend to make it happen. We went out there, and my crew chief was watching us live stream, and he was seeing the things that the truck wasn't reacting to in the way I was driving it. And he called my wife and said, "Tell Mike to do this, tell Mike to do this, tell Mike to do this." And we made the changes, and we drove that truck right to the front that weekend. So, yeah, that whole weekend was a real emotional weekend. We'll hold that close to our heart for a very long time. And just on top of being able to break Ricky's winning streak on top of it was just icing on top of the cupcake.
All right. Well, all right. I see what you did there. All right. Now I want to turn the mic over to the guy next to you, the driver of the 7, John Lisenby.
Oh, yeah. We tried to cash the big check, too, by the way, and the bank wouldn't take it. They said it was too big, so,
right.
you know.
Okay. Okay. Now, I do have a question for John Lisenby, who drives the 7. Now, John, I understand your nickname is Redbeard. Is that right?
Well, it was about 20 years ago. We're kind of working on this a little bit. But, yes.
So people still call you Redbeard?
Well, no, they're starting to go gray on me a little bit, but they still tease me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I feel more comfortable calling you Redbeard. Is that all right?
Okay, that's cool.
All right.
More eggshell, I think, by now.
All right. Now, also right by you, we have Bob Boileau, who drives the 00. You know, at first it was driven by Robbie Decker, but Bob Boileau took over for some time. Bob, the first time I saw you drive that truck was at Greenville Pickens Speedway. Tell me, what was it like to drive that truck for the first time?
Well, it was pretty interesting. I had one of those terrible father-son moments when Tommy said to me, "You know, Dad, this is my 3rd season I've been running in these trucks, and you haven't been to one of my races yet." And that's as a father when you go, "Oh man." So I said, "When's the next race? I'm going to jump on a plane and fly out there with you." So I showed up. And I met some of these folks from the previous series, and it was nice to come see everybody again. And the next thing I know, Craig comes over to me and says, "Hey, the 00 trucks." Oh, that's my story. It's my story.
Step in anytime you want.
Is this legal?
Anyway, they said, "Listen, there's Robbie had an issue and he couldn't make it. Would you mind jumping in the truck?" And I said, "Guys, I'm like wearing sandals and a t-shirt. I don't have anything."
You're good to go.
Between the crowd here, they all gathered up some safety gear, and the next thing I knew, I was strapping in the truck, and I said, "Can I make some practice laps?" "No, there's no practice laps. It's time for the race." So I said, "What do we do first?" "Well, you got to go draw a number out of that thing." And I draw number 1. And I'm like,
boy.
perfect. So what could possibly go wrong? Anyway, I've been racing a long time. It was interesting. The first time I got to take to the wheel of one of these amazing vehicles was in a race. And we came into the first turn, and, of course, Tommy, my son, draws the number right behind me. He says, "Dad, you know, as soon as we go into turn 1, I'm hitting you in the rear." I said, "Well, I raised you. I would expect nothing less." So anyhow, it's been yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Chris. No, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I mean, these trucks are absolutely so much fun to drive. If anybody ever gets the opportunity, or if you're on the fence thinking about doing it, let me tell you, this is so much fun. And the series is growing. It's getting a ton of momentum. There's so many good drivers in here. The equipment is amazing, and they're tough, man. I mean, these things take a pretty good beating. But to answer the question, it's incredible. These things are incredible.
All right. Now we have another question. It's for an original bandit. What does it take to get involved to be a bandit? Who wants to take that question?
Oh, I guess I'm one of the original. I guess gather up your old truck. If you got one sitting out back, put all your parts together like we did, and that's what I done. My old truck's a '79 model, and I just kept putting stuff together, and finally got it together and pieced it together, and it's a pretty good truck. I mean, it runs pretty good.
I think you still have it pieced together.
Wow. I mean, if you got old trucks and stuff at the junkyard and stuff like that, or around your back of your shops or something like that, that's what they are. Yeah, most of them is, and put one together and go racing with us.
All right, thank you very much, Alan Bowles. All right. Now, I also have a question for Tommy Boylo. He drives the 16. I'll pass the mic over here. All right.
There you go, Tommy.
Thanks, Chris. All right. Now, Tommy, you're currently on a streak right now with 2 consecutive wins. Do you feel like you can get a 3rd straight victory when we get to the next race?
Absolutely, I think so. I was hoping for one tonight, but obviously it's not going to work out.
Yeah, that's right. For those who are just tuning in, the race at I-44 Speedway was canceled due to rain. So we're getting our first edition of the Bandit Series Unplugged, where you get to know a little bit more about the drivers and you can ask your questions on Facebook. Now, Tommy, what was it like racing out there with your dad? Because, we just heard from Tyler. What was it like for you to race with your dad?
In a way, kind of similar, but not quite as much anger, I feel.
What do you mean by that?
Honestly, I mean, it's a really cool experience, right? Getting out there with your old man, and obviously, I mean, usually I'm looking in my mirror for him, but that first race, his very first time ever taking a green flag in one of the trucks, I was, by luck of the draw, literally right behind him. So going into turn 1, I told him beforehand, I was like, dude, I'm going to hit you. So it was gentle. I knew it was Chris's truck out there, and obviously got to take care of Chris, and didn't want to damage our truck. But gave him a little love tap as I went by, and it was just a really cool experience. It's awesome racing around with him. I've raced literally all over the world with my dad. So being out here in the Bandit Series, running the trucks with him is just it's a crazy experience. You get to look over and actually look into that side window there and actually see the driver, kind of everything they're doing. You can see their eyes, everything, a lot more than really any other car I've raced. So it's a really cool thing, and hopefully we can keep banging doors a little bit.
All right. Now we have a question from Tammy. Which truck is the oldest? Out of Alan Bowles. Alan Bowles, you have the oldest truck?
What's Scotty's?
Scott Treadway. Scott, you have the oldest truck?
Yeah, 78 Western Star.
Oh, okay. And it still manages to run pretty good. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it seems to be doing pretty good. Trying to keep it out of wrecks anyway.
All right. Now there was a second part to this question. Which truck is the newest?
Yeah, what do you call new?
Yeah, that's just what was asked. Which truck is the newest? Who has the newest truck?
All right, Tommy, what year's yours? What year am I?
09. Oh, yeah, that's probably me.
Yeah.
09.
Oh, you.
Yeah, we got the 09 Volvo out there, so it's been good. I mean, the truck's been fast. It started out as a road race truck, as did most of these other trucks, but as we've kind of gotten into the series and learned a lot more about the circle track racing stuff, which is new to most of us, including Michael, my team owner, it's been a learning experience. Fortunately, I think we don't have the newest hood out of the bunch, which is always a bonus, but no, it's been a lot of fun.
All right, now, also right by you, we have the driver, the 29, Joey Seaman. Joey, I haven't seen much out of you in the Bandit series. Tell me, how did you get involved with this series?
Mostly Craig sponsored my dad when we were drag racing. I was a little kid back then. My dad's been drag racing the truck. Yeah, I'm the youngest one in the group, I guess.
Really? Well, sometimes youth overcomes experience. You know, we've seen that in motorsports before, so maybe one day the same thing will happen for you.
I hope so.
Right.
But Craig called my dad up and told us that we start trying to be a part of this, and we ended up throwing a roll cage in the truck in about a month, and I built all the bumpers and stuff on in my driveway and ended up racing.
Oh, well, that's really good. Do you feel like a victory is in your near future in the Bandit one day?
Hopefully one day. We're just trying to get the truck lined out, and I'm trying to get used to cornering.
Okay.
I was a drag racer, and This is totally new.
Drag racing. What's the biggest difference between drag racing and driving in the Bandit series?
Everything. Just about everything.
Really? All right, now, we got another question from Don. This is an interesting question. Has there been a woman bandit yet?
Yeah, correct.
Bob, you're going to answer this question?
I'm just from Mike Shaw.
Oh, okay.
So,
Craig?
So Trevor Krickenberg, he couldn't be here this weekend to drive number 63. So we, so just happenstance that we had somebody raise their hand at the race shop this weekend. And, so Susan Bowles, who's Alan's... Yeah, sorry, John. John's wife offered up this weekend. We were going to put her in 54. Tyler's going to move to 63. And she was all excited to do it, but then it rained.
Oh, man.
And so she will be our first woman driver.
Okay. So Susan, do you look forward to driving a Bandit Series truck?
Definitely.
Well, let me tell you, I definitely look forward to seeing what you can do inside the Bandit Big Rig Series trucks.
Thank you.
And I guarantee you'll definitely be, a lot of the female fans will definitely be having their eyes on you once you get behind the wheel.
Thank you.
Now, I've heard rumors that you're going to be going to your own truck soon.
Going to be going to your own truck, okay.
John is going to be moving into a Peterbilt, and I'll be getting the pink number 7 truck.
Wow. Nice. The ping number 7. Congratulations, Susan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of news today.
Sorry, it wasn't about you, Chris.
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering. Why were the last to know?
You know,
like where the tracks change and stuff.
You know.
For like 5 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, well.
And so we ask the next question, right, Adam?
Craig, I do have a question. Craig, I do have a question for you. When we were at Greenville Pickens Speedway, I believe it was during one of the heat races, you hit that wall pretty hard. You definitely went for a wild ride. Tell me what that experience was like.
Something broke on the truck. So you do, like you said earlier, I do have twin sons that I race against.
Yeah.
And I don't fix my own truck. So again, something broke. It wasn't my driving ability, something broke. Yeah, I don't know, yeah. And
Wait,
so,
did it break before you hit the wall or after?
Yeah.
Don't ask no questions.
All right.
And so the funniest part about that is, and that's why we really push for the fans, the kids that come to the races, and we have the autograph sessions. Because when I climbed out of the truck, and they're cleaning up oil and not the whole disaster, I'm standing in the back of the truck because I was seemingly right next to the back straightaway fence. And at Greenville Pickens, they had that really cool tailgating section back there. And so there's a bunch of little kids there, and this little blonde-haired girl about 7, 8 years old was standing with a couple of her brothers, and I said, well, how'd I do? She, not good.
Okay. All right, we're moving on. Now this is a question that this person wants everyone to answer. All right. What is your favorite part of being a part of the Bandit series?
Fans. The fans, the autograph session, the kids. I'll tell you, for me, one thing that's interesting is when we've done the autograph sessions, the few times I've been out and joined you guys, the kids are so excited and they're so polite. Yes, sir. No, sir. I mean, so polite. So the kids and the excitement on the kids' faces.
Oh, yeah. For me, it definitely the fans. I mean, I had one little girl come up to me and just bust through about 20 people screaming my name and had my hat, and she wanted to make sure that she got up there to get my autograph and at least meet me. And you know, from just an old country boy and for what we do, I mean, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm definitely for the fans. We meet so many great people at all the different racetracks, and not only the fans, we get, you know, COE, you know, people, engineers, and all kinds of different people at these races. But the little ones that come up to us all the time, the short little kids, and they come up and they want you to blow the horn, and then you look right next to them, and their dad's wanting you to blow the horn too. Okay, we got big kids, we got little kids. They all want to see us doing this and having a good time, and those smiles that they bring to the races is the best part for me.
Alan Bowles?
Definitely all the people, I mean, all of the fans and everybody that comes out and watches us, and all the kids, and, you know, everybody loves this stuff, and we love doing it, and it's definitely the fans.
The ability to bring my family with me and all of us do it together, and the fans, the people,
Yep.
all of us, we just love it. And Chris, I would have never got to know Chris. So
Whoa.
right there, just yeah.
Travis, I gotta say, I like that answer. Family.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm on the same boat with everybody else. Friends, family, and we all get to hang out, get off work for a little while, even though it turns into work. But it's forever.
The fans, but especially it's the only thing that me and my brother and my dad can all actually do at one time and have fun with it. That usually ends in everybody working on their own stuff at the end of the day.
The same all down the line, but my brother Darren, if nobody knows, that's my brother. So he mentioned this 4 or 5 months ago to me about the family, and it's brought each and every one of our families closer. So from this all the way down the road, we're a big family now, but our personal families, that's. But the kids come up and they specifically, you know, they have your shirt, they have Chris's shirts, you know. But still, I mean, I signed this shirt and I just X his name out. But, you know, so come to me first. But the kids love this. And going down the road, we've got the kids, we've got all kinds of people. Now we've got truckers on CBs. I was telling Craig, you know, me and Alan has transported these for 3 years across America. Now they don't ask us what they do. They ask where our next race is. Where's the Bandit trucks going? We're going to come, you know, we're on live stream, we do this. So it's a big bunch of things, but the fans are why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here to make a thing and pack these stands.
I'm in it to take Craig's money.
Oh boy.
No, I'm in it for the fans. I've never signed a
He has
child.
a ton of fans.
I've never signed a child's forehead before, so that was like a big first for me. And it's good times.
I can only imagine why you have so many fans, Chris.
You can't imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, you definitely got to go with the fans, right? Everybody's agreeing there. It's the biggest thing. You get the little kids that come up, and a lot of people buy the shirts, the hats, that sort of thing, which is cool. And honestly, one of the coolest things for me is all the people back home. Obviously, being from Colorado, nobody can really come out to these races for me, but the following that the live stream has back home is just really, it blows my mind. I mean, get hundreds of people commenting and following, and it's just really cool to see that. So it's absolutely gotten way bigger every race, and hopefully there's a bunch of people watching this right now, even though it's probably not as exciting except for Chris. But no, it's but absolutely love the fans.
I'm gonna have to agree with everybody else. It's for the fans.
Speak up, please.
Come on, Chris.
All right. Justin?
I'm going with everybody else. Gonna have to say the fans. It's cool to see little kids come up to you with a shirt, you know, it's got your name on it, and they want your autograph. That's why they came, and just to be able to hang out with the family as well.
All right. And Scott?
Yeah, it's the fans. I mean, they're the reason we're here. This series is what NASCAR was 30 years ago. Trucks are getting out there, good aggressive driving. And it's one big family. And bringing families to the tracks tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned NASCAR. Well, this kind of has this next question kind of might involve something like that. Does anyone want to try another series other than trucks? What some different race experience do you people have?
I started off in a hobby stock car in Newport, Tennessee. And I drove that for about 3 years and then moved into the truck when Alan asked me to drive for him. And it's a totally different experience driving a truck from the car. But it's a blast.
Justin, how about you?
Mine was small autocross events and the occasional weekend trip to the drag strip.
Joey?
I grew up racing motocross, and then when I was 16, we built a truck for drag racing, and I was drag racing up until this.
Tommy?
I'll try to not make this too long.
Oh boy, here we go.
No, I've been really fortunate. I grew up in a racing family, so I started racing karts at 7 years old and kept at it and was fortunate enough to make a career out of it. So I've raced everything from go-karts to formula cars, stock cars, sports cars mostly, now the trucks on both road courses and ovals. This is really my first foray into the oval racing world, which is really kind of strange for me. I'm used to turning left and right. But it's awesome. I mean, it's such a different experience in driving, especially little tiny formula cars, but it's just as exhilarating for sure.
All right, thank you very much, Tommy. Chris?
And his daddy owns a speedway. So used to hang out doing dirt cars and drag racing trucks and stuff when I was young. My old man let me drag race the truck at like 14 years old down in Englishtown by our house. So always did that. Just always drove fast and stuff. So I don't know. I'd like to try a jet car or something, or
a jet car.
Yeah, I told my dad one day there was a jet cab over, like retired cab over up in Michigan the guy had, and I told my dad that I contacted him, and then he sent me for drug testing. So that's one thing I'd like to try.
Just late model cars. We fool with Busch cars as far as support teams. We never did drive the Busch cars, but North Carolina dirt roads. I mean, that's how we grew up. But the big rigs, I mean, I think they're here to stay because they're just something different. We're just out of control. They're not pinpoint control. They're just a fan favorite. We do the heat races, so some of the drivers get to see the races at the fence, and you're looking at it, and it's much better from the driver's seat. When you see these, we were in Nashville, and I saw these guys coming by the row, and I was like, my goodness, we're going that fast. I mean, you're wiping dirt out of your eyes. So I just think it's something different, and I think it's here to stay. So I think that's why we have so many followings, and we're packing these speedways.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much, Ricky. We're going to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, we got a few more questions, so we'll be right back after these messages.
Race fans, want your own Bandit swag? You're in luck, because now you can head to the Bandit website and stuff your shopping cart full. All you have to do is go to banditseries.com. There you can click on gear and see all the latest and greatest Bandit merchandise. Everything from shirts to hats to canned coolies. Whether you have a favorite driver or you just love watching big trucks go 4 wide down the straightaways, we have something for everyone. So go to banditseries.com and have your credit card ready, because the Bandits move fast.
Diesel Spec Incorporated works with over 300 resellers worldwide to offer the best engine repair and tuning services with a 30-day satisfaction warranty or money-back guarantee. Diesel Spec Incorporated conducts all of their tuning in-house to make sure each truck is dyno tested before it leaves each location. They also offer tuning on more brands and models than any other competitors in the nation.
Well, if a fleet call us and they have 100 trucks, for example, and if each truck can save, let's say, half a mile per gallon, okay, it could be like $10,000 per truck. So if they have 100 trucks, they're going to save $1 million.
It makes it a little more responsive to drive, makes it more fuel efficient. Drivers like it, owner-operators, they like it. They just like the performance under the pedal, yet having great fuel savings.
Diesel Spec is a full-service operation that provides a variety of services that include engine repair, fuel economy tuning, performance tuning, and each location is equipped with a 2,000 horsepower dynamometer for accurate horsepower upgrades.
Defending his spot against Justin.
Yep, he's there's a big, there's a pay drop off from second to third, so he wants to make sure he gets those points and that paycheck.
And Craig's enjoying that fight because he might be able to sneak up on them both.
Yes, he could. So we have Tommy Boilo with 3 laps left, out comfortably here at the Madison International Speedway in Madison, Wisconsin.
This is an awesome, exciting race. It really is.
This is what we get with the half-mile track. We see great racing. Like I said, we have a few less trucks on the track than we normally do, but this is what people want. They want to see these guys go around, and you know what? They got their money's worth. They saw a big wreck, and they're seeing great green flag racing.
Exciting racing. I'm hearing race control and something, either the fact that he's hoodless or whatever, but it's slowed to 54 down. Race control is telling him to hold his line, so that tells me there's light traffic coming.
Yep,
yes,
as
it
Tommy
is.
Boilo goes
now.
over the top of 54 as he tries to get low out of the way. But 16 of Tommy Boilo coming away. He's got half a lap left
Two in a
get
row.
his
We called it,
two
man.
in a row. Coming around turn 3, coming around turn 4.
And he's coming down.
And now he's got the checkered flag as he comes sideways.
It's in sight. There
Tommy
it is.
Boilo with his back-to-back wins here at Madison International Speedway takes the tour around the Midwest at Iowa Hawkeyes Speedway. It seems like he's got this figured out. Number 16 and followed by the number 3 of Alan Bowles, the number 17 of Justin Ball, and the Godfather Craig Kruckerberg at 55. And look at that, number 5, the 63 of Trevor Kruckerberg. What a great race. Let's see if 16 has a little donut experience in him.
Will he do it?
He's going to try. He's coming in the wrong way. Or maybe he's just going to nicely pull in.
Well, that's true.
Well, there he is. He's going to nicely pull in. That truck looks great right there on that checkered flag.
That does, and you know the owner Michael, he's got to be excited. Like I said, we've got what is it with this? We've got back-to-back winners. It's not always the same winner, but I mean we've had 3 back-to-back winners this year.
It is amazing. What a great night of racing that we had. We've had wrecks. We had great racing. There he is, getting out of the car, out of his truck.
He is
the
excited.
16 of Tommy Boilo. We're gonna go down to the track though, as they have the audio.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live at the Fairfield Inn at Marriott in St. Roberts, Missouri. We were supposed to race at I-44 Speedway, but Mother Nature had other plans, so this is our first edition of the Bandit Series Unplugged. And we've got several of the Bandit Big Rig Series drivers here. Now, we're going to pick up where we left off with our last question, and we're going to pass it down to Tyler. Tyler, we were talking about experiences that people had in other divisions or anything else.
Well, I don't really have much experience for racing, but just watch our local dirt track racing and go to the local go-kart track and race there. So I'm just new to racing, and it's interesting, and I think that probably what helps. I don't have to relearn my, I learn from the trucks. I don't have to come from a car to a truck. I learn right from a truck.
Travis?
My experience is, I guess, man, my cousins when we was little on a big wheel, bicycle, until now, and that's about it. Going watching races in Newport, Tennessee, and that's about it.
All right, Darren?
Oh, trucks. It's all about trucks, just racing trucks. It's me and Alan took some trucks up in Canada and drag race with them and looked for ways to race big trucks all these years, and now there's the opportunity to do it and to beat and bang amongst. Oh yeah. Yeah, don't want to go race nowhere else. No, this is it.
Good answer. Like that.
It's like Darren says, it's all about the trucks. I've raced trucks about all my life, ever since I've been able to drive the things. We went to Canada, we've drag race trucks, done the truck pulls, done road course racing with the trucks. Now we're doing this circle track race. It's a lot more exciting, and I mean, it's just, I've always wanted to race a truck. I'm on a circle track. I mean, everything else, we've done the road course, stuff like that, but these circle track racing with a big truck, it's like a dream come true. And I do want to go to Atlanta. The guy's got the record down there, 155. I want to do that. I want to beat his record. Some way or another, I want to do that. I think we can, so I'd like to try it anyway.
All right.
I come from a family of Leadfoots, pretty much. We kind of grew up in it. My uncle raced in SCCA Trans Am Series back in the 80s and 90s. As a kid, I was always probably a couple steps behind him. We did Formula Ford racing, introduction to racing up there in Lime Rock, and did some racing up there. And I just grew up drag racing. I always had a muscle car. I always had a fast car. I was always twisting the wrench on it. I met my wife drag racing, back in the day.
But did you let her win?
No, she beat me.
He took her out.
And Yeah, if she gets an opportunity, about guaranteed she'd jump in the truck in a heartbeat. But she's a driver. But yeah, the family, we've always been in and around racing, and on top of that, I turn wrenches for a living as a technician for Mack. So, you know, to be able to race in cars for all this time and all those years and be wrenching on big trucks, and then have the opportunity to drive the things that I've been working on for 20 plus years and drive them at the speeds that I used to drive my cars at, is unreal. And not to mention, you know, all the things that you want to do in traffic, you can usually get away with it in the Bandit series at least maybe once.
That's really interesting. John?
Well, for me, I mean, I've been around trucks my whole life. I did a little bit of motocross, GNCC, higher scrambles years ago, but just the trucks. I mean, I've drove one and been around them most of my life with my dad, but just the opportunity to drive one of them was really something. I mean, there's nothing like driving one of them if I get me about 1,000 more horsepower.
And Bob?
Yeah, I've had a fortunate career. I've raced a long time. My dad raced. My wife and I met at a racetrack when she was 11 years old and I was 13. Her dad raced, and now our kids race. So it's been a long time. This Bandit series is a lot of fun. Like Tommy, I've raced a lot of different things, but Chris just inspired me when he said he wants to race a jet car. I got to one up that, so I want to race a spaceship.
A spaceship? What?
I'm not supplying the purse. The only thing I've truly ever really raced was Mr. Tyler and Trevor over there around the house, trying to catch them.
We couldn't tell.
And now I just seemingly pass them.
Oh.
And so.
All right. That 3-truck race is going to happen.
All right.
But no, the whole racing thing, right? I mean, some of us have raced and some of us haven't raced, and how we ended up here and how more people are going to end up here with Bandit is just crazy. Like I said, I ain't never raced.
You know, I'll tell you what you just said is exactly right. This is like the perfect melting pot. I mean, you have people with years and years of experience, and you have people that have played with Hot Wheels. I mean, you can't get a better melting pot than that. And you know what? We go out there in that track together, we have a great time, and everybody is a family. Yeah, we're going to yell and scream at each other from time to time, but at the end of the day, we're going to help each other get our stuff fixed, and we're going to go out there and have fun. And when you watch these races online, this is a heck of a show. This is a heck of a show.
All right.
And so I got one little story with that, Travis. So yesterday, we were coming to the racetrack. Travis was behind me. And so I've never driven up in this area of Missouri, around the Ozarks. Up, down, around, and blind corners, blind hills.
Rolling.
Yeah, rolling.
I'm not sure they own bulldozers out here. I mean, they must not.
And he was right behind us. Rob and I were in front, and him and his family behind us. And Travis was behind me, and I'm going, oh, man. Okay, I know he can't pass me, and I was thinking about the mailmen on these roads. And then come to find out, I get to the hotel and come to find out that Travis got car sick. Driving the car, he got car sick. So I'm really sorry I went too fast.
All right. Brian, I wanted to get an answer from you, too, about the experience in any other racing.
Oh, man. I don't know where to start here. Actually, I was doing some figuring earlier this year. I've actually been involved in racing as either a race driver, a track owner, a series promoter, race car owner for about the last 38 years. Yeah, it makes me officially older than dirt. But I started out racing our local dirt track, a little 3/8 mile dirt track, called Chateau Speedway in Lansing, Minnesota. And from there I went, I got kind of tired of the local stuff, and I got into sprint cars. And I started running weekly at Knoxville, Iowa, and Jackson, Minnesota, and would go out and hit some World of Outlaws shows. And then I kind of decided that after that, I would be a car owner, and I'd have somebody else drive for me. I found out that it doesn't hurt anywhere near as much when you crash one of them if somebody else is driving. And it doesn't seem to crash near as much either, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence. So, and that's kind of my background on that. And then about 3 years ago, Craig came to me and was telling me about this new series that he was talking about, getting a couple trucks in, and called the Champ Truck deal, and I'm assuming he says, yeah, I got these trucks, I got 2 trucks on order, they're gonna come in, we're gonna race them, I need help running it, and when he starts talking about racing and racing trucks, I'm envisioning pickups, like the NASCAR stuff. And he starts, they should have the new Volvos done here shortly. I'm going, whoa, hold it, you're talking big trucks. And so my first experience with the big trucks racing was actually out in New Jersey Motorsports Park. And I think it was Mike Ryan was going through the hairpin out there, and he was drifting the semis through the hairpin. And when those big old duals out back, started sliding across the pavement, and just the sound they made, I was like, dude, I'm hooked. It's like this gets my blood pumping just as much as sprint cars do. So.
Wow, nice story, nice story. Now, this is a question from Anna. Does anyone who drives rigs for a job ever forget they aren't on the track when they are working? Who wants to answer that? Ricky.
I'm considered pretty rough, so but I like my sweet little Peterbilt personal truck. So I'm going to Kentucky one morning, just a regular day, and it's a 2-lane road, and of course I'm going to pass the guy, that's in front of me. So at the end of the runway there's a headlights coming. So before I could even think, I jerk it in gear without even mashing the clutch. That's what we do on the track, and I'm thinking, dear heaven, this is my personal truck. So, me and Alan, when we first got these things, you have no idea what a Eaton or Road Ranger transmission will take, but we have stress tested them. So we jam these things in gear, so quick, just like that, and I can't believe they live. But, driving on snow, driving on ice, 75, you slide out, you just lift a little, you go on. Before, your heart would go in your throat. It's not that now. So I don't know that it's a good thing, but I'm sure this guy's got some stories too, because I think he's pretty sideways.
Is that true, Chris?
Yeah. I don't know. Just like I said, I tried drifting with the trailer on, just to see what happens, just to get myself, just to test myself basically. I've done burnouts and got out of the truck. I set the cruise with the truck burning out. Got out of the truck, waved at some people, got back in. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Another bad idea.
Do we need a disclaimer at this point going, do not try this at home?
Do not try this at home. Do not try this at home. Do not try this. Do not try this at home, everybody. That's from Brian Madsen.
We're all professionals, stuntmen.
All right. Now, this is another question. Does anyone have any pre-race rituals? Tommy, do you have an answer? John?
I don't really have many pre-race rituals. I think I just try to do kind of the same thing, I guess. I put left sock on, then the right sock, and same thing with my earbuds. But other than that, I don't do anything too crazy. People are probably looking at me weird now, but I'll see what Chris has to say, because he's got something good, I'm sure.
I'm just trying to get all my stuff on, because it seems like we're rushed every race. So last race I forgot to strap my helmet on. We're on the parade laps, and I've got my leg on the steering wheel trying to get my thing, and the wheel wants to jerk out of your hand. And everybody's wondering why I'm so far back. It's because I forgot to put my helmet on.
Pray. I need all the help I can get. So seriously, and I've got a couple of more that me and my wife, but it's nothing. But I wear certain attire, certain colors, so I'm not telling these guys, because they'll never let you down. No, they're too tight. But that's it. We tried those and I crashed, so I went something else.
Not really. I pretty much get myself ready, and I just look over to my dad, and it takes a crew to get him in the truck and get him ready. It takes about 15 minutes.
Woo! Smack down.
It's your birthday. You did it way easy.
Not really. Pre-race, I took it pretty lightly at first, and built the new truck. First race, hadn't tested it out, and seat belt's really loose. Hit the wall about 80, and it broke me up pretty bad. So now tighten the belts.
Ah, nice.
And get
nice.
ready because it's intense.
All right, Alan.
It takes me a little while to get the truck as big as I am, but I mean, I try to tighten everything up, and but I don't know. I try to do everything the same, and it turns out pretty good.
Okay, well, we have another question from a question from Mary Jane. Mary Jane, like the Marvel Comics character.
We were thinking something else.
Tommy was in.
All right.
He was in the 70s.
Okay. All right. Now, it's a two-part question. Who is the oldest out of everyone here? Who's the oldest? Oh, Alan Bowles? You?
What are you looking for?
No,
I was almost certain that Craig was probably going to be the oldest since he's the Godfather.
You're fired. Oh. I think Craig just turned what, 53?
I'm not 52.
Okay, he's 52. I'm 55. I think I'm the oldest here in this crowd.
We did ask for his ARP card.
Oh.
I
Okay.
do have to admit, he did inquire if his ARP card
All right.
would get him a discount at the back pit gates.
Okay. All right. Now, the second part of this question is who's the youngest out of all of you? Who's the youngest? Joey Seaman. Right.
Yeah.
Got me beat.
Joey. Yeah. Well,
Oh, my bad. Sorry, there you go.
Well, Joey, it's like I said. Sometimes youth is a good thing. I mean, just look at Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, I don't really watch much NASCAR, so.
You know. All right. Well, thank you very much, Joey. All right. Now.
You're done.
All right. Now, here's a reminder for those of you who are just tuning in. We've been answering Facebook questions for the Bandit Big Rig series, and you see the race at I-44 Speedway was postponed due to rain. So be sure to log on to the Bandit Series website to find out a revised edition for the schedule. And just keep tuning in and we'll let you know when we'll be going racing at future events. Now, I have a question for Ricky Rude. Now, Ricky, the question that I have for you is, I've seen sometimes when Bandit trucks go 3 wide, and sometimes it's 2 wide, but sometimes it's 3 wide. What is it like going 3 wide?
It's usually right after a green flag. So with these guys, you've got to give everything as quick as you can get it. So sometimes you come in unscathed, sometimes not. These trucks can go 3 wide on most of the tracks. The Highland Rim track we just come from, definitely not. But most of the tracks we go to, the half-mile tracks, are wide. So you have to know who's there. I'd rather go on the outside as the middle, by far. So, but they will do it. We've got video of it. I've got some orange paint. I have no idea who has orange truck in this crowd, but yeah, they were in the middle. So we always put the new guy in the middle.
All right. All right. We got another question from Jason. He wants to know, has anyone else attempted to do burnouts other than Mike?
No, he doesn't even when he finishes third.
Bob just said that he does it even when he... Bob just said that Mike Morgan does it even when he finishes third. How about that? How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Chris
tried it at Nashville, but he didn't complete it. You know, I don't know what the deal was that.
Yeah, that's called a wall. And your brother.
See, Adam, actually, when I talk about 3 wide and being in the middle, Scott's got a really good story about that.
Oh, Scott's got a...
Tell it.
Scott Treadway, you've got a good story about going 3 wide.
Yeah, a couple of racetracks ago, I'm going down the back stretch and look, and Tyler's on one side of me and Trevor's on the other. And we're going into the turn, and I said, no, this ain't going to happen going into the turn. And I got on the brakes pretty hard. I didn't want to be the sandwich in the middle of those two.
All right, now, Justin, is my understanding that your nickname is Boost. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
How did you get that name Boost?
I just got a thing for forced induction vehicles, anything turbo.
Really? Well, let me tell you something. I saw you at Montgomery Motor Speedway. It almost looked like you were flat tracking out there. You definitely know how to drive the wheels off that truck.
We're trying to, and our tires show it.
All right, all right. All right, now I want to move on to the driver of the 01, Chris.
There we go.
I'll just call him Chris.
Check.
Chris K.
Mic
Now,
check.
Chris, when I look at your truck, main thing that pops into my mind is the popular show Dukes of Hazzard. You a fan of the show?
Yeah, it was right after Dallas when I was a kid.
And who was your favorite character on the show? Did you have a favorite?
Daisy Duke.
Daisy Duke. Wow.
God, could she drive a Wrangler?
Oh boy.
What's that? Oh yeah.
I would have thought you would have said the General Lee.
Oh no, it's just just something we always. Yeah, no, it was definitely Daisy Duke. Two dudes in an orange car. Yeah, it really wasn't my thing. But.
Oh.
No, just primarily I needed to paint the truck, and it was we were in the South, so I figured what better place to try to do that, and it worked out pretty good. And then I just basically took a trucker version of instead of having the stars and bars and stuff, because there's so much controversy with it, and what the flag average means. Ricky can tell us, because I really don't know, because I'm a Yankee. But I just put like the naked mud flap girls in the rebel flag, so that when I brought the truck up north, I wasn't somewhere and got the crap kicked out of me by a couple Yankee people. So that's what.
Tell us about the naked mud flap girls, because he's a trucker. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
So and the naked mud flap chicks are like something that's been around for years and years and years. Like even in the beginning, I had the girls on the front of the shirts, and then let me tell you about where you have to know your what's the word we're looking for here?
Limits?
No, where the churches and stuff are and all that.
Bible Belt.
Yeah, you have to know the Bible Belt, and you have to know your demographic is what I'm trying to get here. So at first I had the naked chicks on my shirts, and then we gave a shirt out to the kid. It was his birthday. I said, oh, here, take the shirt. Okay, thank you. Like an hour later, his mother comes back and says, oh, we have to give you back the shirt. He can't wear this to church. And I'm like, all right. So I took the kid's shirt back, and then I gave him a different shirt. And then another misconception on my other truck is I'm from Jersey, so we had the truck as 666, which is the devil. And down south, they don't like the devil. So then I had to change that. For Craig.
You were actually scored as the number 6 truck.
Yes.
Yeah, I was 6. The people wouldn't write down the 666. They wouldn't. We had given Robbie the nickname El Diablo, which was on TV. They kept saying El Diablo, which that wasn't a good idea. So we've learned the demographics and stuff like that. And for your question, yes, I like Dukes of Hazzard, and Daisy Duke is still my favorite character.
All right. All right. Now, this is a question from Nicole Ball.
We don't know her. I'll be home later.
Justin, okay. I guess we'll start with you. Does anyone have a favorite track to race at?
So far, mine probably would have been Montgomery that we've done this year. That probably would have been my favorite.
Right here, my friend, right there. Scott?
I really like the Montgomery track too. It was just a great track to race on.
Montgomery Motor Speedway getting some popularity here. Joey?
I'm going to say Madison. That's the best I've done all year, so.
Okay. Tommy?
I'll go along with that. I like Madison and Hawkeye Downs. Those are both great tracks.
All right.
Obviously, and Pikes Peak International Raceway. Got to give a shout out to sponsors.
Chris, what's your favorite track?
Montgomery Motor Speedway. It's fast. It's smooth. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricky?
Greenville Pickens is my favorite so far. I mean, all the tracks I've been to. The rest of them are really good, but I favor Greenville Pickens.
I like Madison. That was probably the best track I had good luck on until the last 7 laps, because people.
Montgomery for sure is a smooth, nice track.
All right.
Hickory was my favorite track, because last year I had the Mack, and it's got about under 400 horsepower, and it actually would stay in the lead. You know, it's a momentum track. if you got a lot of horsepower, you like the ones like we just come from because it cripples you in the turns. But yeah, Hickory's a nice track.
I thought you were telling me your favorite was Highland Rim.
Oh.
I'm trying to be nice.
All right.
I like
Alan
Greenville,
Bowles?
Montgomery, and Madison. All three of those tracks is good. They're great. Their truck's done good on them.
All right.
My truck done good on them. I mean, I like those three tracks.
Okay. Mike Morgan?
I'll say Hawkeye Downs. It was a very technically challenging track with the different elevations with the short track in the middle. I mean, I remember chasing and going to the inside of the start of the green flag of one of the other competitors down here and going airborne on the inside going down into turn one. And the other one will be Montgomery. Montgomery's got a great track surface, a really smooth track. We can really get some good speed down there, and that was a lot of fun down there too. So those are my two favorites.
Yeah. John Lisenby?
Montgomery for me too, definitely, and Hickory.
Okay.
My top two.
I don't have enough experience to have a favorite track. And when I race my spaceship against him, I'm not going to need a track. But if I got to pick one, I'm going to pick Pikes Peak International Raceway.
Shameless plug. Yeah, okay. So the first time you raced, you told me you never raced an oval course.
That's true.
But there's an oval course out at Pikes Peak Raceway, right?
Yes.
You never drove that?
Nope. Maybe a couple times. I said raced, though. You didn't say driven.
Okay. Thank you. So if I have to personally say my favorite track out of all this year was Highway 7 coming through the Ozarks, because I was in the lead the first time I could actually beat somebody.
All right. We have another question. All right. I'm going to go with this one. It's from Phil. It's for Chris. For Chris. Phil wants to know, Chris, is your head on straight or is your hat turning left?
What's Phil's address? He's getting asking. Put your address up there, Phil. I'll show you how square my head's on.
Okay. All right.
Oh, it's Mongo. Real funny. Look at, hey, everybody, it's Barney over there.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I got Chris. That was funny.
All right. We have another question from Tammy. What do you haul in your trucks?
PG, more personal.
Your personal trucks, that is. What do you haul in your personal trucks?
I haul concert and entertainment equipment and theatrical equipment.
We do end dumps. We do coal and sand, gravel, stuff like that.
Coal, sand, gravel, stuff like that.
That was refreshing.
We haul coal. The Jupiter guys mostly haul coal.
Yeah, I haul coal out of Kentucky, we do, and sand and gravel, just all that are, back to Kentucky, South Carolina, North Carolina.
I work as a technician, so I don't normally haul, but when we do, we just haul our race truck to the racetrack, and we usually haul ass.
We coal. Anything comes out of a frameless end up, we'll haul it.
All right.
You guys, we don't haul anything?
Bob? Craig?
No. So on the way down, so I got this one. So on the way down. First time I had a CB in my vehicle.
Went into that truck stop.
Yeah, sorry. So,
Yeah.
so as you can see with the Bandits, right? This is every bandit that comes in. Joey, you're probably the last bandit in the last couple of races, right? They come in a family, but boy, they better be ready.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take the ribbing of family. And so the only Mac that's at the second Mac, because Travis drives a Mac, right? So Mr. Morgan drives a Mac, and I told him this earlier today. And I went over to CB, and we were talking about him on the way down, trying to figure out who's going to put a bounty on him. I don't know. But I go, hey, Mike, you should paint that Mac truck brown, because it seems like you always deliver a package to one of us at the end of the day.
All right, we have a question from Misty Lee. What are some Bandits' most enduring moments, as it seems everyone is a tight-knit family? And how have some teams worked together?
Okay, my most endearing moment. We were at Iowa Downs. I came in to the paddock, shut the truck off, dropped my window net, and a T-shirt flew through the window and hit my windshield and slid across the dash. That was exciting.
I'm going to kind of go in a little bit of different direction here and how some of the teams work together. This last week was a perfect example of how our guys will work together. When Ricky and Mike had their wreck last weekend at Madison, instead of going back to North Carolina, the entire Jupiter team came up to Minnesota. And Craig at Minimizer opened up, the KMS shop for them to basically rebuild Ricky's truck, and gave him all access to anything he needed. And that's everybody. We've got other guys that are going down and helping Chris out move his stuff to the next race. So everybody's willing to help everybody else out, and it's a good family deal. It's good friends.
All right. Now, Brian, you mentioned that you had experiences in stuff like Outlaws and sprint cars, and now you're in the trucks. What is the biggest difference that the Bandit series has over the Outlaw and the sprint cars?
Weight, about 10 times as much. There's actually, believe it or not, there's a lot more similarities between a sprint car, and the trucks. We're not like late models. We're not like modifieds. We don't run independent front suspension. Sprint cars and trucks both run solid front axles. They both run solid rear axles. And the setups are really close to the same thing, except spring rates are a lot higher on trucks for some reason. But there's a lot of similarities to it. So there's not as much difference to the big trucks that you might think there are. So it's a race vehicle.
With the exception of mass and inertia.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Back to that weight deal. Yeah. So I mean, it's like
You can move a wall.
Yeah. A lot of the guys are always asking us, what is the horsepower range of these trucks? And they don't realize that most of these trucks aren't really rated by horsepower. When you go to figure out what you want to buy a brand new truck for, you go to look to see what type of torque the truck puts out. That's what they're trying to move. The weight that you're moving is not necessarily bound by your horsepower. And it's way different than what most your automotive racing has out there. All these trucks out here got a lot of torque going on with these trucks. That's why you see them. When we drop the green flag, we go quick, real quick down into turn one. We pick up speed. We're at max speed by the middle of turn one. It's not a 2-lap, get her wound up type thing. No, by the time we're coming out of turn two, it's on. We're all 3 wide, 4 wide, full on race. And that's the 2 wide wall. Yeah, sometimes it happens, but that's part of the excitement that all the fans get to see. That's part of the Bandit experience that's going to be out there for everybody that wants to come to one of these races.
All right, we got a question from Donna. She wants to know, where are Chris's shoes? Chris, King.
Well, because I only have one pair with me, and I was standing in the water all day. They're soaked, so I was going to find a dryer. Why you got to play me, Don?
Oh, boy. All right. Now, I have another question for Mike Morgan, driver of the 88. Mike, when I was getting down information on you on what type of truck you had, you told me that I should have it down as a Mac Vader, reference to Darth Vader. Would you say that you're kind of like Darth Vader in any way?
Not necessarily. We named that truck, when we painted that truck, we pulled out of the truck stop that night, and the truck was so black, and the light was shining through the truck stop, through the windshield of the truck. It just looked like a a menacing truck. And we just kind of named it that night Mack Vader. And it's stuck since day one. It's a Mack CH, 99 model with an MP7. We got Mack's smallest engine in that series, in that chassis right now. By no means is that truck a slouch. I think everybody here thinks it's pretty badass when we get up alongside of them.
That's what I was thinking.
But, you know, no, not really anything to do with Darth Vader at all. My son came up with, by the time we got to Vegas, he came up with winning from the dark side. And we've kind of stuck that theme on the truck. We were kind of not necessarily the underdog, you know, but we were different. We had a different truck than everybody else. It was a Mack, not a Peterbilt, not a normal truck, and we were doing things in a different way than some of the other drivers were. I was doing what I know as a technician would make the truck fast for me, and it wasn't necessarily normal thinking. It was just me thinking outside the box, trying to make a fast truck, and some of it worked, and a lot of it didn't.
All right. Now, this is a question that anyone can answer. Besides the fast pace and quick judgment, what do you find most challenging, whether it's physical or mental? Who wants to take that first?
Chris?
Physical
or mental challenge?
Physical or mental?
Oh. I'm 52 years old. Yeah, thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
And so the thing of it is, right? I mean, at one time, many years ago, somebody said Tony Stewart was probably the most athletic fit athlete in the world. Okay, I'm 52 years old. I like my cupcakes. Okay.
We can tell. We've been out there all week.
And so the thing of it is, you know, you look around the room and there's a lot of old guys here. And you'd think out of the, you know, if Brian decides to take it to 100 laps, there's going to be a few of us that are going to have oxygen and some help here to get through it. But it is. I mean, when you get out of the truck, I don't know if it's the adrenaline or if it's just the driving or what it is. It's, you know, when I walk into the coach after a race, Robin's looking at me, she goes, "You need a nap." "Oh, yeah, I just drove 8 laps.
All right.
You know, and that's why. That's also why I never have to worry about you guys fighting among each other. You know, you guys get out of the truck and you be, you know, jumping down the steps, out of the truck, onto the track. About halfway over to the other truck, you guys be like, wait a second. It's just, I need to catch my breath. Hold on.
We're going to fight after this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This ought to be an interesting question to answer. Anyone can answer. If the GoPros that you guys have in your trucks were live, you know, like part of the live stream, and people could hear you, who would be the most censored?
What?
Craig, you?
Well, my struggle is my team. I mean, there's times the truck just doesn't go, and I got to tell somebody something. Yeah. And I was telling somebody today, I can't remember who it was, so we were at the racetrack. So you know, every one of us in this room right now has one of those uh-oh moments on the racetrack. And so I can't remember which race it was. They're all so much fun. And so we took off in the heat, and I was telling John tonight, and so we were like on lap 2, and I'm coming into the corner hot, and John's in front of me, and I'm going, and I'm screaming over the radio, bleep, 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 bleep. I don't have brakes, and I'm just hitting it to the floor, and I'm going, this is gonna hurt. And somebody asked me, is this more like the Bandit and Smokey and the Bandit? And I said, no, this is totally Days of Thunder cool.
Days of Thunder with trucks.
Right, exactly. And I literally close my eyes and I'm jamming the brakes to the floor, and all of a sudden something.
Explain some of the moves, driving moves.
And something clicked. I was pushing in the clutch. And at the last second, like, okay, wrong pedal.
Brakes are fixed.
Yeah,
all
instantly.
Right.
Michael is good.
This is the first time the team heard that, so I apologize.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, team, my bad.
Okay, we got another question. What are some of the trucks' names? Do any of the big rigs have names?
Yeah, I got one. It's because, you know, a lot of the millennials would never even know this, but if you go to work and you Google Tonka trucks, car haulers, if you look at a Tonka truck car hauler, it's a blue car hauler. Now, probably from what you say, it's old guys, probably what, the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. And my Ford looks like that little blue Tonka truck. And so me and Tonk, we have a lot of conversations out there. He understands the conversations that him and I have that the rest of the people don't. And no, it's not like that. And so it's really funny. I do talk, probably to myself, but me and the truck do talk.
So Tonk, and then you got what, Mac Vader? What else
Talk to your truck?
Our truck is the Mac Vader, and it's.
What else? Who else has names? Probably just any other trucks have names?
Mine's a Peterbilt. Mine's a Peterbilt. Hey, Scott's got a name for his truck.
There's some of the guys that name them depending on how they perform.
Yes.
It's on how they perform.
We had a temporary name. It wasn't necessarily based off performance, but I remember we were at, I think it was Greenville Pickens second time around, and we were just tired of being in another plain black truck out there, so we found a big sheet of Michael's yellow vinyl and just cut a bunch of random triangles out. And somebody called us the Neon Nacho, and it kind of stuck for a little while. And fortunately, we got the new library on there. It looks a lot better. It's not necessarily nacho looking, but it was Doritos. So if Doritos does want to throw a sponsorship at us, I'll be happy to throw some Neon Nachos back on that bad boy.
Cool Ranch. Don't change color.
All right.
Yeah, my truck's got the name Alice on it. The guy that built it was a big Alice Cooper fan, and he put Alice on it, and it's still on there.
Alice Cooper. Yeah. Did that guy?
Maybe you should put makeup on and stuff like that.
I'll try that.
Oh.
I'll match you then.
Yeah.
Put makeup on the car. Nice. Pretty interesting idea. All right. So, so for those who don't know, I looked at the point standings, and Ricky Rude, you are the point standings leader. You got quite a good point lead. Tell me, do you feel like you have what it takes to win the championship?
I would think I would like to think I could, but I had a 100+ lead, and I think I've got half that now, around 60 or something. I hadn't looked at it lately, but
124 points between first and fourth.
yeah, it's tightening way up. So just circumstances in the last two races has actually should have took me out of first, but other things happened to the other drivers and stuff, so it's played out in my favorite. So I would really like that title, and I'm sure the other 3 and 6 and 9 and 15 would. But like I say, I started out in Hickory at the first of the year and had a terrible race, and I was 7th, I think. And then we just popped up 3 good ones, and I ended up there. And luckily, I've maintained it. So I would like to keep it. Of course, anybody would. But it's getting tight. Everybody's getting better. These tracks, a lot of these tracks, they're not that much different. So when we get there, everybody wants to practice. But when it comes right down to it, these tracks, I mean, it's a circle track. There's some tweaking you can do here and there, but everybody just catches on really quick.
All right, well, Ricky, I want to say you're definitely one of the top racers out there. And I still remember that battle that you had with Chris at Greenville Pickens. You guys were going side to side, and you guys were giving it your all, weren't you?
We all do. We give it every bit we can. I've raced with Chris a bunch. I mean, we've beaten Bank. Like I say, we're here for the fans. I mean, if you can come, we're not going to come unscathed, but as long as they'll load on the trailer, we're all happy. But the last race we done, we had a heat race, and I raced with Alan, and we were just side by side the whole race, and I respect Alan. I mean, we bump and bang a little bit, and we had it, but that was probably one of the most fun races I've ever had was with Alan, and he edged out and he got the win. I let up a little bit because he's my buddy and I wanted to let him win. But so anyway, I give it everything I had. He deserved that win. He got both of his heat races that night, and he earned them both.
All right, so I want to take back to who's won so far. We had the first race, Robbie Decker won, and then Ricky, you won the next 3, and then Mike Morgan, you won the next 2. Tommy, you're on a roll right now with 2 in a row. So my question is, what's probably going to happen when we go racing the next time? Are we going to have a first-time winner, or is it going to be a familiar face back in Victory Lane? What do you think?
I think anything's possible. I mean, these races aren't pre-decided by no means. This is not a fixed thing. We come and we look at, we look at the track. Everybody's different. Just like Darren, he liked the Highland Rim track. That was a smaller track. Seriously, I mean, his truck would run good there. I mean, it would just, it's like a momentum track. Darren's truck at this moment don't have a lot of horsepower. I mean, we're all going to fix these things, and we're all going to get more equal. So it depends on the track we go to. That's why I like Greenville Pickens. My truck, Tommy's truck, Mike's truck, pretty good horsepower. They handle pretty good, and it's a horsepower track. And we just have good odds there. So,
and actually, as far as for it wouldn't surprise me to see a new winner.
Oh, of course.
Next race,
Justin Ball has finished second. How many times, Justin?
Yeah.
Quite a few.
And I mean, he was there. He was there.
That's where I was going with that, because he is overdue for his first victory.
But I mean,
he's been
Justin.
Each one of us, each one of us. I mean, has an opportunity. Craig has he has done tremendous. So when the last race that I had, the race before last, I had a little issue with a bumper, and so I finished with 4 tires. So the last lap, turn 4, Craig passed me, and he was so excited. He went in the grass, and I was so mad, but I knew Craig was in that truck. Like, yeah, I've got him. And so I just, Craig's done really good as far as seeing somebody that, like he said, all he's done is chase Trevor and Tyler. So he's really improved,
All right, well, thank you very much, Rookie. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after these messages, so don't go anywhere.
Race fans, want your own Bandit swag? You're in luck, because now you can head to the Bandit website and stuff your shopping cart full. All you have to do is go to banditseries.com. There you can click on gear and see all the latest and greatest Bandit merchandise. Everything from shirts to hats to canned coolies. Whether you have a favorite driver or you just love watching big trucks go 4 wide down the straightaways, we have something for everyone. So go to banditseries.com and have your credit card ready, because the Bandits move fast.
Diesel Spec Incorporated works with over 300 resellers worldwide to offer the best engine repair and tuning services with a 30-day satisfaction warranty or money-back guarantee. Diesel Spec Incorporated conducts all of their tuning in-house to make sure each truck is dyno tested before it leaves each location. They also offer tuning on more brands and models than any other competitors in the nation.
Well, if a fleet call us and they have 100 trucks, for example, and if each truck can save, let's say, half a mile per gallon, okay, it could be like $10,000 per truck. So if they have 100 trucks, you're going to save $1 million.
It makes it a little more responsive to drive, makes it more fuel efficient. Drivers like it, owner-operators, they like it. They just like the performance under the pedal, yet having great fuel savings.
Diesel Spec is a full-service operation that provides a variety of services that include engine repair, fuel economy tuning, performance tuning, and each location is equipped with a 2,000 horsepower dynamometer for accurate horsepower upgrades.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at the Fairfield Inn, live right here in St. Roberts, Missouri, and we have several of the Bandit Series drivers out here. We've been taking your Facebook questions. We have another question from Ken. Why no Kenworths out there yet?
Right here's my Kenworth guy.
Well, we're actually building one right now. It's kind of in shambles right now, so we're hoping to have it put together by the end of this year. These trucks, you can't build them overnight, so it takes some time, and try and find parts for these. You have to go to a junkyard and stuff like that. So
Or leftovers from the track.
yeah, pretty much. So we're going to have one hopefully by the end of this year.
All right, now this is a question for anyone. Is anyone using super singles, advantages or disadvantages? Advantages or disadvantages? Brian?
Okay. Actually, right now, no. Nobody's using super singles. Super singles would be an advantage, but currently we've got in our rules a mandated tire, and it is not compatible with the super singles. That is something that we're looking at possibly changing for next year, because it would actually reduce rotating weight, and which is the same thing as basically giving the trucks more horsepower. So it would also put more contact, tire contact patch down onto the track, which would help increase performance. So yes, it would be a competitive advantage. It is something that we are looking at, but as of right now, for the rest of this year, we are staying with the duals for this year.
Okay, good to know. I believe this question is for anyone. Anyone can answer this. If you were a new Crayola color, what would you be?
Chris. Is this the Sesame Street live feed, or what's going on? Orange. Because
A new color.
a new
You
color.
gotta name a new color.
Oh, what's orange and red? Because that's
Purple.
when Ricky smashes into me. That's what the mix is.
I saw it weekly, but I can't keep it in my head.
I'm just gonna have to go with neon nacho. Keep it
Oh,
going.
okay. All right, Joey.
I can't even come up with anything.
All right.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to our next question. This is for Ricky. To Ricky, what happened the last race to cause the caution in your eyes?
Oh no, he didn't.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
it doesn't say who said it.
This is from my point of view. I mean, we're racing. Tommy, he races very competitively, and our trucks were pretty equal. I couldn't catch him. We had 4 or 5 clean laps, and he caught traffic, and I was catching him during the lap traffic, and I took my racing line. I'm looking at Tommy, and next thing I know, ka-wham, I'm sideways, nearly turned over. I don't even know who's involved in the wreck. So I think I can continue on. It kind of tweaked my shoulder a little bit, but the truck wouldn't go on. So what was the question? I've done rambled. But anyway,
Whose fault?
that was. I have no idea whose fault it was. I mean, you can call it an accident or whatever, but this series is becoming so competitive that that's why the fans like it. I mean, that's why we're here, and every race has stepped it up so far, and hopefully we can just keep pleasing them.
Just blame Craig.
All right. We have a question from Bobby. This is an interesting question. Could we ever see these trucks compete on dirt? Brian?
We've been asked that a bunch, but Brian, he's the guy that said yes or
Brian's the
no.
one that says no.
Oh, come on, Brian. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see these Bandit trucks on dirt. I'm pretty sure it would be pretty exciting to see.
I'm sure it would be. I'm really sure it would be. And this is going to sound really weird, especially coming from me, and I've got a strictly dirt background. But for right now, we need to get the Bandit series growing. So we're going to stick with the pavement tracks for now. We've had an option. We've had an offer for some trucks to go over and test at a local dirt track the night after their race, so the track would be nice and hard. That's something that we may look at possibly doing, just to get a test to see how they would handle on the dirt. The one thing that we don't want to do is have the rear duals dig in and rut up the track, especially if we're sharing a night with other classes. So we've got to be very careful where we go. Right now, we know we're competitive and we can run really, really well with the other classes on pavement. So for right now, that's where we're sticking with.
Oh, okay. What about racing on a road course?
We've talked about adding one road course into our schedule for next year, just to kind of give it a little bit more variety. It's something that we've looked at and we have talked about, so it's a possibility.
Okay. All right. Now, this is a question that anyone could answer. What has been the most expensive repair and from what?
I don't know. Don't run a Ford. Hoods. Hoods is one of our biggest expenses. You can buy a Volvo hood all day long for what, $600? If you want a Nell 9000 hood with butterfly hatches, they're $1,700. I thought they were retired and they're in the junkyard. The hoods are for me. So Morgan is more of a mechanical guy. What's your cost?
This last weekend is probably the most expensive wreck. I think everything from the doors forward on my truck other than the engine was broken. The hit we took, the only thing was some of the frame mounts in the front is actually crooked. Radiator, charge air cooler, hood, right front door, everything on the front of the engine, both front springs, right front hub, assemblies, brake rotors, rims, everything on the front of the truck was broken. The water tank on the left side was shifted so far over I had to pour to power it back in so I could even get the cap off to put water back in it. And I really haven't done a thorough inspection of the rest of the truck. We were planning on doing that this afternoon at the track and finishing up the things I couldn't finish up in the last 3.5, 4 days. Hoods are the most expensive and part that breaks at most of the tracks here that we tear up.
So now you actually and made the comment, about replacing your door. Now I'm hoping that door ended up on your wall.
Oh.
Because I mean that is one of a kind.
This is a one-of-a-kind door. In case anybody didn't catch what happened, me and Ricky got in a pretty horrible wreck last weekend. We got really lucky. His tandem tires actually came in my passenger window, went into the door, pushed in the roll cage a little bit, and we actually got a full-blown imprint of Continental tire, 22.5, in my passenger door. You can physically read it. We had fans checking it out and signing autographs and just taking pictures and couldn't believe that, his truck was 6 feet in the air, never hit the side pod of the truck, but crushed in some of the cage in the door.
That imprint of Continental tire in the door is a perfect imprint. I mean,
it's a perfect imprint. No.
It's not nothing. I mean, it is Continental.
It says Continental tire right inside of it, 22.5. It's quite amazing that we could have that kind of wreck. You can tell he was on the brakes because it's not smudged. It was just slammed right into the side of the door. But yeah, it was a very bad wreck. It's the baddest wreck I've been in thus far in the series. I'm sure Ricky's probably agree with that. We both took one hell of a hard hit last weekend. And I've been back-to-back weekends.
I mean, Mike's got a lot of help. Now the guys pitched in, but I've got about 175 man-hours in my truck this week.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know how many hours, but I was at the barn all the other hours, and when I was at the working my 40-hour work week this week, I was at the barn.
All right, we got another question that anyone can answer. Are there any concerns because some drivers don't have experience with big rigs or racing that are taken into account at these races?
Well, I'm thinking we should hand this one over to some of the guys with a little bit more experience because that's a little bit more to on track. Some of the new guys, though, that do come in, I try to pull them aside and talk to them a little bit, get a little bit of a history on their, racing type background. And if they don't have any racing background, I will give them pointers on what to look for, kind of what we're expecting of them, to try to keep their truck straight. If they're being lapped, to make sure they go down to the bottom, stay in the lower groove, hold their line. and that's from a, the director's point of view. Some of these guys might want to talk about what they look for as far as for experienced drivers, racing with guys that are newbies.
Well, I was the newbie to this series. Obviously, I've raced a lot. You guys know that. But, I mean, when I got in the big trucks, for me, it was just a matter of adjusting to the weight of them and the tires. I think the one thing that took me by the surprise the most was the first time I raced these when we were at Greenville. And we came around for the main race. And when because we race these things at night under the lights. And when I was in probably the middle, maybe just a row back from middle. And when the green came out, I didn't see it. I heard it, green, green, green. And I literally couldn't see any of the trucks in front of me. I just lost them all in the smoke. It was unbelievable. But you know how that is. I mean, but as a racer, just stay on the gas and go. And I mean, so for me, I just had a lot of experience to rely on. So and spatial awareness. So for me, I took to it relatively easily. I would say some of these other guys would be able better be able to answer that.
A lot of us rely real heavily on our spotters. Without our spotters, we'd have a lot more trucks wrecked on these tracks right now. These trucks are really big. They're hard to see around. Your peripheral vision, even if you had great peripheral vision, it's almost impossible to see a lot of stuff on your left and your right side of the trucks. They're too big. Even in the pits, we have to be really careful. We usually have somebody riding on the side pods of the trucks just to make sure that we don't have any fans that it might pop out of behind a camper trailer or something, and we don't catch them at the last second. When we're looking at some of the newer drivers and stuff, we usually try to coach them up the best we can, give them what they think would keep them in the safe zone until they get accustomed to what we're doing on track and how the show goes down, how we start the races, how we finish the races, and how things go through the middle of the race. Some of the faster trucks, we can usually figure out some of the drivers after several races, and we know whether we can take them on the inside or whether we can take them on the outside, whether he will hold his line or whether he's just, for a Sunday drive going left and right.
So being the new guy, right? The only thing I've ever raced is his butt around the house. Brian and all the other guys, they did give tips, but the best part came this week from Rick was, I was kind of proud of my fourth place finish. And Ricky goes, well, there's a different set of racing rules when you get up in the top 5. And so I'm a little concerned.
Mike, Tommy, Justin. Am I lying?
Yeah, no, you're not lying. That's all that's in the rule.
No matter what racing series, you've got Alan, you've got a bunch of these guys. I don't care what you run, but I mean, in that particular race, you can come up from 9th, 10th, and the closer you get to the front, the harder that guy is to pass. So just every week, just like this past week, Alan, his truck had not been doing good, and he found a little thing, and he was gone. I mean, he done good, and I told him, he had the truck to win, and he done really well. He showed. He won his heat races and stuff. So just take it. Yeah, and
What's the question again?
Let's just move on to go ahead, Joey.
You don't even know what we're talking about. Yeah, I'm lost again.
The question.
Just how does it feel to be new?
Bob was saying about the black smoke on first start. Montgomery was a lot of fun because Tyler was in a new truck and thought he was hitting the clutch and hit the brake, and I was right behind him, and I ended up spinning out and hitting the wall for the first time. That was definitely an experience.
So he did what? Running the family.
Yeah. I started gathering that after Craig finally said something.
What do these do?
All right.
Joey, did it hurt? Did it hurt?
What, the wall?
Yeah.
No. Safety equipment did its job.
Like I said, when you get in the top 3, it hurts a little more.
Okay.
A lot more.
side leg.
That's our adjustment for the weekend. We all go left, man.
All right, here's another question. Now, every story has a good guy and a bad guy. In the Bandit series, who's the good guy and who's the Bandit's bad guy?
Chris.
What?
The drifter.
Are you the good or the bad guy?
I'm a good guy.
Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
I'm a good guy. Nobody's kicked my ass
I'd
yet.
just like you to answer this question.
Yeah, answer for the group.
Oh, I'm answering for the group?
The voice of the people, Chris.
Oh, man. What's the question?
Who's the good guy?
Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
In my opinion, I think Scott is the good guy because
Scott.
no matter what, like he knows he has a little bit slower truck, and he'll always say, "Well, I'm going to stay on the inside and this and that." He's always respectful. It doesn't matter. He's never in the way. He's never been in an incident. I think he's got hit a couple times, but basically he goes through the race and never gets touched. And the bad guy. Wow.
That's a good part.
I'm going to get my ass kicked. Jeez. Each race has a different bad guy. One particular race for me having a bad guy was in Highland Brim. My good friend Darren. Raise your hand, Darren. There he goes. Kind of hit me and got spun out, but it depends on which race. One particular race in question also, Ricky thought that Tommy was the bad guy in an incident there, but we had a really great moment today when Ricky apologized.
I did. It's just it's the videos. It's videos. Me and Tommy had Tommy was the bad guy, and I expressed it greatly. But anyway, look at the video. Tommy's a really good racer, and I think it was a racing accident because he didn't have clear vision. So I talked to his dad earlier about it, and Bob and Tommy both been around racing a lot. It takes a lot to look at these things afterwards, and so we've grown closer.
Thank you, Ricky.
All right. Something to go along with your little story about between you and Darren.
Let's pass the mic to Brian.
You. Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Lay it on me.
Well, actually, I was just going to ask a question and have him explain a little bit. I guess Darren could probably answer this too. Part of what we're talking about earlier is family. This is my extended racing family, and they have their own unique ways of making things right and settling up with each other. And you're talking about the Chris deal and the Darren deal at Highland Rim. I thought they come across a very unique way of settling their disagreement. And I'm going to let Darren explain what they ended up doing to mend bridges.
Well, I made a bad decision, foolish decision to push the gas, and because my truck was, it was racy that night, and Chris was doing his showmanship thing.
I couldn't be any more straighter. Your guy was basically straight texting.
But I felt so bad about it. My wife talks to him on the text. Because he needs console.
This is a long story. I don't want to kill your.
So I just asked him what I could do. Maybe I was thinking he wanted money.
Yeah.
But he said, "Wear my shirt." So the whole family, we did it, and we worked it out.
Did you pay for it?
Right.
No, it was free.
It was a mutual agreement.
Craig wants a cut of it.
Okay.
Y'all need 2% of those shirts, bro.
All right, we got another question. It's for Tyler. Tyler, what special artwork do you have on your and your brother's trucks, and why?
Oh, stop talk. So
Stop what?
Stop talk. So at Highland Rim, instead of just being patient and wait, he proceeds to plow in the back of Trevor's, literally got on top of Trevor's truck and pushed him in the wall.
Who's that, your dad?
Yes.
Okay.
So, tore everything apart, And when we get in the pits, you think he'd be the worst one. He actually was the calmest person when he got out of the truck, because when he did that, I got in a wreck because I plowed in the back of Tommy's. Amazingly, he didn't get any damage. So pretty much his deciding to run into Trevor caused our 3 trucks to not finish that race. So we just put on their stop talk, maybe just slow him down a little bit.
I'd like to
We have a rebuttal.
Oh, Craig, you got a counter for that?
I don't remember which race it was. Maybe it was that race. I kept telling Trevor's spotter, my spotter, to tell Trevor's spotter, tell him, just move over. You're in my way. You're out of control. But like Tyler said earlier, as a family, right? We're all families here as the Bandit side, and Tyler and I and Trevor, we all race together. And that's what, when you guys, you and Tommy, eventually, and you and your son-in-law, and it's crazy, right? It's crazy how many people that we have that are family racing in this series. But it's also crazy expensive that when I got to make these guys start fixing their own trucks. But at the end of the day,
You caused the wreck.
I did not cause the wreck.
That doesn't mean anything. Right?
And so Tyler,
That just blew you up.
so Tyler's saying I was the calmest one, and Robin knows this. I was the calmest one because when it happened, I rolled down into the inside wall, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, I'm done. I'm done. I don't know how to drive. I don't know about trucks.
Not a good dad.
Right? Yeah, I think that was part of it. I'm not a good dad. Right? And I literally sat there, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm done. And so when I pulled up, and those guys were out of their trucks, and I was scared to get out because they're pointing at me, and I literally quit the Bandits at that moment. And then I got to thinking about it. It was like, you know what? No, because I'm going to lose a lot of friends if I left the Bandits. And so I'm back, and I took 4th last week.
Yeah. All right.
Good job.
All right, so thank you very much. All right, now, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. We thank you for joining this edition of the Bandit Series Unplugged. Be sure to go to banditseries.com to see the upcoming schedule and pay attention to the Bandit Series on Facebook for more updates. I'm Adam Otwell, and on behalf of all the drivers here that took part in this Q&A session, we thank you for joining us, and we'll see you the next time when we go racing with the Bandit Big Rig Series. Good night, everybody.
It's all work and racing, that's the life I lead. This song's about the night the Bandits proved it to me. Blowing black smoke down those old country roads, drifting every corner as fast as we could go. Who would have thought this would ever be? Fox sent a crew down like I've never seen, 'cause some would call us bandits in a local magazine. Don't you think this big rig racing's getting out of hand? It started out with beers you never understand, blazing through the smoke, getting cheered by the fans, 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 fans. Man, this big rig racing's getting out of hand. We roll like thunder, that's why we never saw Bandits and got loose and flying to the wall as the pace car pulled out the pits filled with fans. Out from a window came the Bandit's hand. He signaled, I'm alright, and the look on his face said it's all about the glory. We'll live to roll another day. Crowds kept getting bigger, and so did the prize for the race. Don't you think this big rig race is getting out of hand? It started out for beers you never understand, blazing through the smoke, getting cheered by the fans, 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 fans. Man, this Bandit racing's getting out of hand. It's all work and racing. racing, that's the life I lead. This song's about the night the bandits proved it to me. Blowing black smoke down those old country roads, drifting every corner as fast as we could go. Who would have thought this would ever be? Fox sent a crew down like I've never seen, 'cause some would call us bandits in a local magazine. Don't you think this big rig racing's getting out of hand? It started out for beers we never understand, blazing through the smoke, getting cheered by the fans, 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 fans. Man, this bandit racing's getting out